So today I'm going to share with you my August 23 to February 24 cork covered A4 Royal Talens sketchbook. This is the one with white paper. You might have seen in my birthday article that I stocked up. I got another one of these large ones and I got two of these small ones. This is not half the size, as you can see. It's actually 2 and a bit times less than the main one. I've not been able to do much art. You are excited for my oil pastels month. Well, you're going to be a little bit disappointed because I've been very I can't even think of the word. What's that word when you haven't done much? I don't know. I'm exhausted. The actual book for my business, the deadline is looming. I've been doing so much sewing. So anyway, let's take our minds off this. I didn't realize today was Friday. I got a notification on my Trello board, which is what I use to plan stuff out, saying like, oh, your video is due, and I was like, oh crap, I haven't even done it. So here we go. Hopefully you'll get this before the end of the day. This is my sketchbook, August 2023 to February 2024. Now it is not in date order. I think it started off in date order, but then I started jumping around. So this is, you probably saw this in my oil pastels video. This was just a piece of fun at a workshop I went to in Amsterdam, hosted by Sarah van Dongen. I keep it separate in this sketchbook because it's from this time. I also created like a little envelope that I stuck in with a few postcards to use as reference images if I was ever bored and wanted to draw something. This is I think it was following a tutorial of Toby Ler, I think his surname is, on the 2nd of August. I actually stuck it in because I didn't have this sketchbook at the time. I got it like a couple of days later. So I was working on loose pieces of paper and I ended up sticking in. Same for this one, which was the 2nd of August. Again, watercolor. This is on crappy paper, like literally like the kind of paper that you get for the printer. It's a little bit heavier than that. Not quite as like 80 GSM, maybe like 120. This was watercolor paper, I think Canson XL. And then this was where I was going to stick other things in, like an envelope, but didn't. Another Toby sketch loose. This was a joint session he did with a guy called Colin. I also wrote down the Inktober prompts here because I had a spare bit of space. I don't like this, I just like it heavily. These were some sketchbook doodles just sitting around in the sitting room and drawing what was in front of me. This was 11th of August. Again, I did them on like loose pieces of paper and then stuck them in. This was a lino print that was part of my fiance's book that's getting published. This was Getting to Know Some Pens. You can see I didn't finish it. I kind of gave up. This was from a street here in the town where I live in the Netherlands. I wanted to experiment with tombos that were like not standard colors, like brighter. Didn't finish it, didn't like it. That was again in August. I think what's great about a sketchbook that covers a period of time is to see the difference from the beginning to the end. This was David, a quick drawing of him sitting whilst watching a film. He was wearing the green shorts that I made for him. His t-shirt was bursting. I think he'd had pizza. That was the 14th of October. I should have put some more background, but I quite like the negative space. I haven't done this for a while, like just drawing with pen what's in front of me. This was the garden, which I did a quick sketch in the dark, like late at night. So it was quite dark. It was like dusky dark. So I quickly sketched what I could see and then I came back in with pencils and a bit more watercolor to kind of like brighten it a bit because it was quite dull. Again in August, these were just experiments with some, I think they were acrylic inks maybe, and pencils and pastels, more acrylic playing, swatching out. This was another lino print of the character Bill, one of the main characters in David's book. This was the World Cup Women's Final. This is what's great about sketching when you're out and about because it helps you to solidify memories. So we went to watch the Women's World Cup final, football final, at a pub in the town where we live, and we sat outside afterwards and we had a drink, and this guy came, sat down, drank a pint of Guinness, and then he got up and left. He paid, of course, but like now I know exactly where this was. I remember that memory, I remember the day, so it's really cool. And then this was a cover idea for David's book. I haven't done this yet. It needs to be done because they're waiting on the cover, but priorities. This was from a photo. I started off using just color pencils and I was really enjoying it, but then I added ink and I gave up because I don't like the black ink and I've just left it. This is a part that I was doing from a ceramic statue, which I still have the photo of and I will finish, but this already took me several hours and it got to the point where I had bigger priorities in life, and so it will get finished at some point. I might even do it as like a draw along video, but for now it's just there waiting. Again, duff drawings, just basically taking, because I think this was during my I'm gonna draw every day in August, so it was just a case of like trying to get things down on the page. This was planned to be like a series of little thumbnails for an article on my main website to do with Barbie inspired outfits and sewing patterns, but I didn't end up finishing it. This was just a page full of gouache panels, which I did quite bright, and then I when I needed to just like do something creative, I would just grab a pencil and draw something. So these are in no day order. It's just a case of when I needed a moment to just I would come in here and do things. So these are like crunchy little nut things at a local pub. It's not even local to us actually, in the town we live, and these are weird. I don't like these, so I always leave those ones behind, but David loves those ones. He wasn't with me on that day, I was with someone else, and yeah, those got left because I don't eat them, and neither did the other person. Funny little birds. This was from a TJ Marston Patreon, just a quick doodle, but I might have even copied that from the original drawing. Then these you will have seen the fashion illustration process on my YouTube channel. I don't know if the video is still there. It was like one of the lowest viewed videos and so low engagement, and I heard that if you remove videos with low engagement, it helps to bring up your overall channel standing, and so it's more, YouTube's more likely to show your video to people. So I think I might have hidden this one. I'm not sure. If it's there, I'll link it. This was, I sat opposite a supermarket and this was in September now, and everyone that waited, there was this railing and the entrance to the supermarket is here, and when people stopped and waited for obviously like their friend or their family or their partner went inside, got the things, and they waited outside, so I drew them quickly, and this was loads of fun. I forgot how much fun it is to do this. This person always reminds me of Camilla Parker Bowles. And then this was David sitting. We went to a pub that we used to go to for Sunday roasts, and this was David then, but they gave us the roast on skewers. It was like chicken on skewers with red peppers and pineapple and slightly chili, and then he came with like roast potatoes and roasted vegetables and peas and gravy, and David's like, this is not a roast, and so he was like, roasts do not come on skewers. We haven't been back for roast since because he was so disappointed. That was in September. Now I just make Sunday roasts, which takes more time, but they're worth it. And then I think this was the same day I was going through like an experimenting stage with just my favorite colors, which are blue and orange. So I drew this scene where he was sat here, I was here, and that was my view. Behind him was this. So I just eliminated David from that. I have nothing to say. It's very colorful. It was great at the time for me to experiment and try new things, but this was inside the pub where we get the Sunday roasts. We had gone inside later because it got cold after we'd eaten, and there you see the name of it, O'Malley's, and this was like the bar area. We often sat at this little table opposite the bar because it was closest to the exit, and they have TVs at the back that like does Formula 1 and football and rugby, so it gets quite noisy. This is a house around the corner from us, just some little drawings from outside on our terrace. This was put on this page having seen Omar Wynne do it with acrylic inks, because if they're acrylic they dry permanent and then you can work over them. But I never did anything with this because I drew my dad here watching something on his iPad. He was reading something on his iPad on the sofa with his slippers, and I haven't done anything with this because I just feel like it's natural foliage colored anyway, and I feel like if I put anything there it's going to spoil the overall page, so I've just left that. I had been meaning to come back and do something, but in the end I just decided to leave it as it is because I quite like the simplicity. This was using the Holbein pencils that I got. I need to incorporate the Holbeins more and really experiment with them, try them out. Generally I don't use them. They're in a little pot by themselves. These are the different colors, and I was just doodling. This you would have seen in my acrylics review month, or my review of acrylic month. This is the tree. It was from a Natasha Newton photo from her Patreon. It's very different to what the photo looked like, but I really love the texture. Look, I can get in there and scratch it. Drawing of my dad using colored pencils only. Again, playing with a different texture. I think I showed this in the video how I use colored pencils. I did because it has a brown sticker. This I had so much fun doing. I was out with David and it was actually from a photo, and it was part of Inktober. I literally started Inktober and after a couple of days gave up. This was the first one I did, and the theme was dream. It was a Sunday where I didn't have to worry about work or anything, and we were out and about and just chilling, and so I was like, oh, it's a dream come true, because I'd seen this earlier in the day and taken a photo, and I still love looking at this. I feel like this is my style of drawing with like scratchy lines, but I feel like there needs to be quirky details in there, but I like looking at this. Then this is the continue of Inktober. This is as far as I got. Second day was spider, and there was a little spider on the bed, so I drew it. He was actually hanging from the ceiling and I knocked him onto the bed, but I had my drawing supplies out. David's hat, I don't know why his hat was on the bed. Then why are we walking down this long and winding path into the unknown? What might we find at its end? Don't know where that came from. Dodge, football. You can see I lost interest here. I was just like, no, I'm not doing this. I think this might have been the month where I was using the brush pen quite a lot, and I was like, no, I'm not doing it. Then we have a page of just swatching out various chalk pastels, soft pastels. Sorry, my brain went blank. Let me drink some coffee. This was from Asada van Dongen. Reference images, cats. There's nothing to explain those. See, this is why it's good to show a sketchbook, because so much of my work is really rubbish. Like, look at that. But I think if you don't ever see people's rubbish work, you think you get this idea of perfection. Everything must be perfect, and that's not realistic. This one I really enjoyed. This was Asada van Dongen in September. So we drew one image. This one was originally 3 minutes with 1 hour with coloured pencils after. I did that, but then from that drawing, we had to put away the photo. We weren't allowed to look at the photo. She took it away, but from our drawing, we had to do another drawing. And that's what this one was, and this was 7 minutes from this. And you can see the difference in style, like the lines are much looser. And then, oh, this was the Isaro mixing colours. If I mention videos, they're on my channel, but YouTube will only allow me to link 5 videos during this video. So there's a swatching video on Isaro. Ignore that. These, I think, were some notes from on composition, horizontal line vanishing point, foreshortening, size and placement overlapping. I think that's from an Ian Fennelly session that I made notes on. This was for Katie Moody, a replay in Patreon using how to do trees, so using Tombos with pencils on top, and then this was just Neo colors, and I enjoyed that. That's just, I don't know what that is. Sarah Dyer's Patreon, oh no, Sarah van Dongen, sorry, in October. Oh, it was children. We were drawing children and it was awful. I'm not good at children drawing, as you can see. I quite like her attitude. And then this was like a collage, a composite of different photos that we drew from to create like a final, I guess like a still life, but not. Doodles. This Sarah Dyer. This is like statues. So this was a vase, this was something else, and they were timed, so 8 minutes, 6 minutes. And this one I gave up and I was like, yeah, I'm stopping now. This was a Draw Brighton Patreon session. 10-minute warm-up, 45 minutes and a 45 minutes. I enjoyed it. The model kept moving, which annoyed me, but you know, you expect that. I need to do more of them, but it's just finding the time at the moment. I'm frustrated that my business is taking up so much of my time when I just want to do arting. And this was a Sarah van Dongen live timed session. I really enjoyed this. I love the color palette that I picked. Again, this is like a page that had acrylic ink in the background that I learned from Omar Wynn. The channels that I'm mentioning, all the patrons, I'll link them in the description if I remember. If I don't remember, please like leave a comment reminding me, because my brain's a bit loose at the moment. There are more to this. I skipped pages because of various things, I think to stop like color going underneath. This was supposed to be a video, but I never got around to finishing it. So this is using Intense Blocks, and so I got my idea on Intense Blocks and I based it upon an image that I got from Paxels, I think, or Deposit Photos, I'm not sure, and I did it. And then the plan, and I videoed that, and then the plan was to come back in with pencils on top to show you, but I just, again, it's time, just haven't had a chance to do it. At the moment it looks a bit daft, but I think it has potential. I may go back and do that. I might have deleted the videos thinking it was never going to happen. This was the continuation from the Sarah van Dongen. I think it was, I can't remember what the theme was. This one as well, but I ran out of time to finish this one and haven't gone back. And this one with the mushroom's head. Then this was a TJ Marston Patreon. You can see how this sketchbook became like more of a Patreon sketchbook as time went by. We are still into, oh, we're in December here. So this was November. We do skip back and forth. This is December. TJ Marston December. I've shown you this in the color pencil video because of the brown tag. I need to go in and finish it, but I quite like the graphic big spread. I quite like a big size page like this. I need to remember that I like this size. TJ Marston. This one was 5 minutes and this one was 20 minutes. And again, I really like them. They're nothing, I know they're nothing amazing, but that's what sketchbook is supposed to be, isn't it? It's like you can see I was just like happy to just get color onto the page. I wasn't thinking too much and I was just doing. This was a continuation from that Sarah Dyer. So the statues one, I did it the same day, but whatever reason I jumped ahead a few pages. Can't even find it now. Maybe because it was in November and I'd left empty pages. This is Tombow practice to show that you can get Tombos with no lines. That's based upon an Ian Fennelly thing. This was in Paris. This was our tiny little room. This was a museum that I went to while we were in Paris in November. This is a continuation of Paris, but I gave up trying to finish the spread and I ended up doing some TJ Marston Patreon session on it. The same. This was later in the month, the 31st of December. I went back to finish the rest of the session on replay. This is from when I was in Paris and I took a 2-hour session with somebody and we went to the Petit Palais Museum Gallery and did drawing. This was really good. I really enjoyed doing this and I need to revisit that at some point. Again, Duff. This is from a street there in Paris. Duff. This is recently in February, a spare page I had from a reference image in Natasha Newton's Patreon. I think this must be her fiance Dominic walking away from her on a path. And I started it and I was enjoying it, and then I put something up here that I didn't like, and then it messed everything up, and then I just scribbled and I hate it. Originally I loved it, now no. This was another page which I had prepped for Paris. I thought I would do something like the Notre Dame or something on it, and when I came back to looking through this book, I saw that this page was still here and I got really frustrated, and so I just put stuff on that doesn't make sense. This was a Katie Moody Patreon urban sketching. This is 2.5, so these are like the warm-up exercises. 2.5 minutes continuous line, and again here, so continuous line, if you haven't done it, is when your pen stays on the page no matter what. You don't pick it up, you just keep going, and it's supposed to help loosen you up, and it does work. This then was a photo, so these were photos that she took in Vienna. This was 15 minutes using Tombow as the base and then pencils on top. Again here, same thing, 15 minutes, and it's great because you can see that this is where I start to get a bit more confident. I'm just going to drink some more coffee, sorry. Yeah, this is when I started to get a bit more confident. As you can see, this was a 30-minute session and this was 40 minutes. There was a gaggle of people sitting here, but I didn't put them in. I need to remember to do this. I liked this for my trees. I had fun doing that, and then I've forgotten that I do that, like these funny little curly squiggles. This was just stuff in front of me using my Pentel brush pen. This was color mixing, Ian Fennelly workshop in the Urban Sketch Plus membership in November. Experimenting, and I need to get back to that as well. This was a Sarah Dyer and Emma Carlisle Christmas Patreon, and it was fun to join in, but I hate what I created. They're so rubbish. I find myself getting really frustrated that what I'm creating isn't what I imagined in my head, if that makes sense. This was the TJ Marston Patreon. Might still be the same one that we've looked at before with the boats. This one, I feel like it's the same one, just a different photo. This is the page of soft pastels that I was playing with watering down. There's a video on that on my YouTube. It's a page of line training from Ian Fennelly. The X perspective training, that was in January. These were earlier in the month. See, I need to find a way to incorporate kind of like pen work within what I do, because when I see that, I like it. I get bored of just doing that by itself. This was a page I split up to do studies and then haven't found the time. This was from Sarah Dyer's Zoom session, fundraising session, sorry, for Palestine. This was the first session, Ramallah, but I just drew with pencil because I did it on this big sketchbook, and it's the amount of time you have, it's like 20 minutes for each, and I don't have enough time to finish them. Swatches of acrylics, you've seen that. This was a session in Katie Moody's Patreon, a Christmas themed one, which I enjoyed. Not my colours normally, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. More acrylic practice. You've seen that in acrylic month, which was February. Then this was another Katie Moody Patreon. This one was line month, so we just did line and then shape. Yeah, line and shape. So this was 1 minute of color continuous drawings, and then 2 minutes one color line only. These are like little warm-up exercises we did first. Then this was 2 minutes of line plus mixed color. This is line and then color, so putting in the line and then coloring around. This was color first and then the line. 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You can see why I enjoy Katie Moody's Patreon, because there's a monthly theme and it really challenges me. And these are all like not tutorials, these are all like video replays that you can watch if you wanted to join. This is one of my favorite spreads in this book, and again it's another Katie Moody session. This is brush pens using polychromos pencils on top. This is brush pens with luminance pencils on top. This took 20 minutes, this took 25, and it was from 2 different photos, and it's still from that like line and color themed month, so it was in January, and we put the color down first and then we went in with line on top, and I love both of those. I need to remember that I liked working like this, because I'm someone that actually would do line first and then color, so this was really good for me. Challenging. Empty page, clearly a marker to remember to go back, and I haven't. These you would have seen in my colored pencils, how do I use colored pencils video. So it was one photo from Natasha Newton's, and then I did it in my interpretation in Kuretake Art Nouveau paints, watercolors. Then I did the same thing but modified it, so based upon, I did this from this using Roman Schmalz, and then I did this from this plus photo in Winsor Newton, and then this in Daniel Smith. This one has had pencil go on top, as you can see. It feels a little bit too Natasha Newton to me, like the colours palette that I chose. I mean, it's cool, but it's not me. This was just a quick, not a thumbnail, but like a big thumbnail for my niece Sophie had a serious accident on the 1st of Feb, and I wanted to create a card for her, and she is crazy about this kind of anime, is it? I don't recall, but this character she loves, so I was just plotting out to make her a book with that character, but I ended up doing something else. This was from a quick sketch that I did from a photo in a book, and I haven't gone back and finished it. I wanted to color it. I wanted to use watercolor or gouache and then go over with pencils, but you know, time. This was acrylics month, just doodling in my sketchbook. This you will have seen in my acrylic month review. I loved this page, this double page spread. I'm gutted that I did put pencil in here, but hey ho. Unfinished, non-used page. Armadillo, Katie Moody. Can't remember what those are called. Well, no words for that really, have we? This was Shadow Van Dongen faces. We were drawing people. Oh no, it was hands. So this was the shirt. This was a man with lemons holding up to his face. You can see 15 minutes, 20 minutes. This was in February. A woman holding a bunch of lemons, and this person had an entire table of apples in front of them. So that was all done during the same session. And then just swatches. I normally do like swatching at the back of my sketchbooks. It's like just an easy way to swatch colors out at the back. Experimenting. This was my shadows. And what I used to do is I would get my supplies and I would start from the back and I would just have them all swatched out, so I had something to reference quickly in the moment if I was using this sketchbook and wanted to see the color. But as you can see, the amount of color pencils I got through that period just ever increased, and I got fed up like noting stuff down, so I stopped. Like even my all pastels has grown, I think. Definitely my gouache selection has. So yeah, that is my August 2023 to February 2024 sketchbook. I hope you enjoyed it. This video is long. I don't have time to edit it though. You're gonna have slips of me drinking coffee and deep inhalations as well, maybe even tummy rumblings if you're lucky. Let me know if you would like to see this in, well, I don't know if I'd do it in real time. It would probably be a time lapse, because real time that would take too long, but at some point I will go back and finish this, and I will, if you want, I'll record the process and share it with you. For now, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If I haven't yet replied to any comments you've left, please do forgive me. I'm normally on top of comments, but my work schedule at the moment is insane. I'm hoping to do them on Sunday morning with a nice cup of coffee from the bed. So I hope you're well. Lovely to share my sketchbook with you, and I will see you again very soon. Take care. Bye.